How to document project risks. Risks? How boring. Not this video though. This habit could save you. You've never heard me talk about this specific aspect, and it's a habit that you really need to know. In this video, I'll show you how to document your risks and how to keep them on everyone's top of mind so we can do something about them. So let me start out by saying that the key to business, the key to operations, the key to excellence is always IDS. Identify, discuss, solve. Identify, discuss, solve. IDS, IDS. The key is this. In human systems and in human behavior, typically people are incentivized to not bring problems to the surface. Because if you have problems, well, you're going to look bad. But what people don't understand is on a construction project, it will eventually come out. And it will affect your end date, and it will not magically go away. A great construction project will bring all of their problems to the surface, every mistake to the surface, deal with all of them as a team, identify any risks, any potential for risks, and they will then discuss and solve what they've already identified. That is the key, IDS, IDS. There's a really great quote that I love that says, problems are not a problem. The only problem is when you have problems, but you think you don't, and then you don't solve them. So that's not the exact quote, but that's how I remember it. So the key is IDS. So what we have to do when we find, and we need to find them, our project risks is to put them in the right format, the right location, so that it's on the top of everybody's mind so we can discuss and solve them together as a team. But for that to happen, you have to see them. So I want to say every risk goes somewhere. Here's what I mean. You probably remember me explaining the 3 habits of a builder, and that is to study the drawings for 30 minutes a day, to be in the schedule for 30 minutes a day, and to do project walks at least twice in a day, but bare minimum once. So the key here is when you study the drawings, you're not just studying the drawings, you're doing it to trigger an action. It'll be like, hey, do we have these caps? Do we have this metal panel? Do we have the bolts for this? Do we have the reinforcement? When you're reading the drawings, you're going to send a message out to somebody for action so you can prepare work. Sometimes when you read the drawings, you'll find risks. Those risks have got to go somewhere. Second, when you're in the schedule, you're reading the schedule, not just to read the schedule, but to trigger action. Hey, this crew, are you all ready? Do you have the labor for this? Is the equipment ordered for that? Do we need a pre-install meeting or a pre-construction meeting for that? You're triggering action. Sometimes when you're reading the schedule, you're going to find risks. They have to go somewhere. Also, when you're out in the field doing your walk, boots on the ground at the place of work, yes, you are doing it not just to do a walk, not just to get some exercise of your steps, but you're triggering action. What I mean by that is you might say, hey, trade partner, please do this. Hey, clean up level 3. Hey, let's start preparing for this area. Hey, we're a little bit behind. You're triggering action. One of the things that you might find on your project walks is you might find risks, and they have to go somewhere. So right now, I'm going to explain where they go and why it's so important. So first and foremost, we already know that we have a risk and opportunity register. So that in pre-construction is where you take your project plan, because you did the project planning, and you sit down in a risk review and a fresh eyes meeting. You use that team of experienced individuals to tear apart your plan, find your risks, and then like we always say, you can either get rid of them through planning, absorb them, or cover them through contingency. So obviously, the risk and opportunity register is a perfect place for you to log your risks. And those risks should be reviewed, and I'm telling you, this is key, in your team meeting every week, and go through each line item, the status of it, and who is ultimately responsible. Lauren Atwell taught me at Petticoat Schmidt one time. He said, it's the OPUR, the OPUR, one person ultimately responsible for that line item, for making sure that we are mitigating or entirely removing that risk. So that is one great place to log them. The other thing I will say is your schedule. So all of your planning deliverables are places where you can log this. And if you already put it on the risk and opportunity register, you can also put it on your schedule. Meaning there's nothing wrong. And actually in the Monte Carlo analysis that I used to have to do with CPM schedules, we would put the risk right there in the software. You can in your schedule write down, hey, this is a risk. We as a team need to do ... right? Put an activity in there to trigger the proactive steps that you're going to take to reduce that risk, you can put that right in your schedule. And if somebody was like, well, hey, that's not professional in a contract document, the schedule is a tool ultimately for the team to build the project. It's not just some reporting BS tool for the owners and the owners' consultants. It's there for us to use to build the project. So if there's a risk that everyone needs to know about, especially when it deals with weather or certain seasons or certain safety preparation, we can definitely put that in the schedule and log it there for everyone to see. Third, the budget. You might think this is a silly comment, but not only could you put it in the basis of estimate and your basis of schedule as a risk, but you also, if it's a potential contingency use, if you're forecasting it, you can obviously put that and project that as a part of your contingency, right? I would say from a financial standpoint, like financially realize that potential risk from a financial standpoint so the team sees the effect of it so they're motivated to go do something about it. Really, people don't mitigate risks when they don't see the consequences, when it's not in their face, right? So like let's say for instance, there's a delay in a project and the scheduler just keeps dissolving logic and we always show on time. Where's the motivation for the team to get rid of the risk? But if you actually show, hey, this is the impact, we're going to be 10 days late, then the team will be like, oh my gosh, we gotta do something about it. To take action, we gotta have leverage. You've got to have it documented. So the budget is one area, and the schedule, like I already said, where you can showcase these risks. 4, like I said, any exhibits that are a part of your GMP submission and that go out as a part of your bid packages, you can actually show those. Hey, here are some things to watch out for on the schedule. Hey, here are some things to look out for on your zone maps. Hey, here are some things to look out for on your logistics plan. Hey, here are some things to look out for on the basis of schedule. You can log those there and rally everybody's mind around them on any of your exhibits. 5, one thing that I like to do on lift drawings and schedules and any of my planning deliverables and on the budget itself is a list of assumptions and clarifications. In addition to our typical assumptions and clarifications, I like to really, and especially on the schedule, say, hey, well, this is assuming that this is assuming that we are going to execute this. This is assuming that we get rid of this risk. So anytime you are mapping out your assumptions and clarifications, whether that's on a lift drawing or a schedule or your budget, you can put your risks in there and say, this plan is predicated upon us as a team removing this risk, and that will enable all to see. And 6, obviously your planning boards. If I'm walking around or doing my schedule review or doing my drawing review and I see a risk, of course I'm going to put that on my last planner or tax steering and control boards up on the wall in my conference room for everybody to see. And once they see, obviously in our daily foreman huddles, we can talk about them and as a team get rid of them. Remember, identify, discuss, solve. So the key here is every risk goes somewhere. And the criteria for where does it go is where will everyone see it so they can discuss it, so they can solve it, so we can take action, so we can not realize the risk, so we can plan around it or at least cover it with contingency. That is the answer to how we document project risks throughout. And as a gift, I'm going to link you to a blog post in the description below that will also take you to our website. If you have any need for help, we at Elevate provide resources for consulting, for training, and for project recovery. We can help you with any of your needs. Just put us in when you need us. But I hope you've enjoyed this video. On we go.